forecast several hours ahead of more rain. So we may spend a lot of this evening fighting more fire. A lot of volunteer firefighters as well as paid firefighters, police officers, highway patrolmen, and deputies. You probably noticed the parking lot, which is our staging area, is just stacked full. Those are the people that are awaiting deployment. There's at least that many more on the mountain and throughout town that are roaming and doing the work as we speak.
Can you talk about what are your biggest concerns?
Let's do it one at a time. Yeah.
Governor, I was just hoping you could describe what you saw from the air and tell us how the firefighting crews are attacking those fires from the air are working throughout the afternoon.
You know, as you know, we've had a horrible month for fires all throughout Tennessee, but this is different because it involves so many structures. You know, the fire we had on the other side of the mountain over in the Walland area and down in Chattanooga and Morgan County, we weren't so near people, and when you see that number of houses that are burned out, and you can tell how fast the fire went because they're burned to a lot of them are burned to the ground. It's a little numbing, to be honest with you, to see the extent of the damage. So, again, the other thing that you see when you're up there is, I guess because I know because of the wind, the fire happened in so many different places, and so you can see spots all over the place, and it's a mini miracle that they were able to keep as control of the fire as they were, because of the spread and the number of fires. The other places we've had a fire line that you can manage. This has felt like just, you know, everywhere you look there was a fire popping up. So again, hats off to first responder crews. You've done an incredible job.
Is there any estimate just between the residents and the forest, just the number of people who are displaced, evacuated?
We do not have an estimate of that. Right now we estimate that we sheltered a little over 2,000 people last night in our shelter here at Rocky Top and in Pigeon Forge at the LeConte Center, and we'll be trying to get a handle on the number of people that we'll be sheltering tonight and feeding. But we continue to do that. We continue to try to provide items, hygiene items and other things for these folks that can't get back to their homes yet. I'll make a comment about the county. The city is still evaluating because I think so many structures, but we've in discussion with our sheriff and some other folks in the county, we had probably in excess of 150 structures that were either destroyed or damaged. In particular, we had two areas, the Wares Valley area and also the Cobley Knob area in Pittman Center, both of which we estimate right now. The estimates that I got this afternoon was about 70 structures in each of those. So we've determined that we have some hot spots in the county. But I am told that most everything is under control, whereas, as you heard the chief say, here in Gatlinburg you've got some structure fires still going on, and we expect that to be an ongoing thing.
What about progress of getting Great Smoky Mountains National Park?
Superintendent Cash, you're on.
Hi, good evening. Just today we transitioned our Type 1 team. Type 1 in the Incident Command System is a team that's used to handling very complex fires like the Chimneys fires. And so in addition to that, we have a lot of resources, whether they're helicopters or tankers or dozers to come in. So again, we're really getting more robust, and as I shared with the chief and the mayors, that we look to continue to amplify our sharing of resources across organizations.
Any structural damage within the park?
No, not to our knowledge just yet. But again, you know, folks are getting eyes up in the air, and there are some areas that we're looking to confirm.
In terms of the fire itself, or fires, what are the biggest concerns tonight? Because clearly we're still not out of the woods. What are you guys focusing on looking at?
The single greatest concern would be the wind. It's just a great feeder for those fires, and a wildfire can spot fire up to a mile away just from embers being blown by the wind. So the greater the wind speed is, it just makes our job a little bit harder. It creates these additional spot fires. If the wind comes at the same time the rain, not so much of a problem. If the wind comes a couple of hours ahead of the rain, then our jobs get extremely dangerous again this evening.
And those 3 deaths, were they together or were they in separate areas? I know you don't know much, but can you at least let us know?
I understand that they were separate. They were not inside Gatlinburg, so that's why I'm...
But I mean, were these 3 people that were together, or were these 3 completely separate incidents?
They were separate incidents.
Separate. Okay.
Does anyone report a missing?
Not that I'm aware of.
Mayor Warner, can you describe from what you've heard so far the scene in the city of Gatlinburg, when the first structure started going, how quickly things moved, how desperate the situation got quickly?
You know, it happened so fast, it was staggering. You know, when you've got wind up to 87 miles an hour pushing fire, I mean, people were basically running for their lives. And the structures that have been damaged, a lot of them up on Greystone Heights where I live, there's nothing left but a foundation. All through town you can see, as Chief Miller said, different spots that are totally destroyed. And then right next to it, there might be a spot that's totally okay. But the speed was incredible, and every agency that has helped, that has supported us, has done an amazing job.
Are you comfortable with the evacuation time? Could it have gone earlier?
I think the evacuation time was as good as it could be, and no one had a clue that it was going to happen that fast. That's one of the biggest problems. As Chief Miller just said, that wind, when you see it and you see it pushing fire, it's a scary, scary sight to see.
Mayor, how and when did you learn about your own loss in the midst of trying to lead the community through this crisis?
You know, I heard from a couple people last night that they knew they had lost their homes, which was close to ours, and I didn't know for sure that ours was gone until today, and we went up and got as close to it to see it as it was gone, and then we got out of there because there were still propane tanks, wires down. It's very dangerous, you know, to try to maintain these fires and do the work that our professionals have to do because of just the obstacles they have to deal with.
Yeah, let's on that note.
The governor asked that I made this comment in our meeting earlier because I think it puts in perspective what has happened in our wonderful town, and that is that Parkway is basically intact. All Parkway, which is of course the main commercial road in town. The Glades Buckhorn area, our very famous arts and crafts community, is intact. And I'm not saying that there's not maybe a little bit of damage somewhere, but in terms of relative to the other areas that have been so severely damaged. So, you know, I think just to put in perspective that we have 2 very primary parts of our town that are intact. Now, granted, yes, we have a lot of damage. We have a lot of recovery to be about. But as all of these gentlemen have said, and you know, we're a strong community, and we're going to work together, and we're going to get there.
Thank you. I think that concludes our